I recently bought this drill press from an old coworker of mine, which was in pretty rough shape. Had a little bit of surface rust on the bottom and the top plates, which I sanded down. I decided to build a little drill press station on these 3-inch casters. Made it real easy to move around the shop and use it as an outfeed table or simple storage down at the bottom. And that's what's coming up next on Melrose Design Company. I got some 3/4-inch plywood ripped down at my local hardware store and broke it down to the final dimensions using a circular saw and a straight edge. Taking the Craig jig, I strapped it down to the table using a clamp. I put the drill press station backing into the jig and drilled 4 pocket holes that should hold just fine. You want to make sure you do a quick sanding. This will save you a lot of time in the end from reaching to the back and sanding it smooth. Using 1 1/4-inch Craig screws with a drill setting of 9, we screw them all the way in until the drill starts clicking. This means the screws are sitting flush with the pockets. Once the 2 sides are fastened to the backing, I slide the bottom of the station in, which will hold the casters. Using a clamp helps tremendously. It keeps everything together and flush. You can never have too many clamps. I currently own 4. I made sure to put the pocket holes in the bottom, that way you can't see them. Luckily, to cut the shelves, we were able to cut them on the miter saw. You cut it on one side, flip it, and then cut through on the other half. For the top, it needed to sit flush with the outside of the drill station. I did this so I could trim out the rough ply edges with oak. Some brad nails and glue works just fine here. Now that it's completely framed in, I drop both shelves in. I purposely left the top a bit bigger than the sides so I could trim it down with the router later. Using some wood filler, I covered all the holes left from the brad nailer. Flipping it back over, it was finally time to add the wheels. These casters sit 3 inches tall and lock into place when you want the table to stay in place. Surprisingly, they stayed solid when it was locked in position. I'll link it down below. Trimming out the sides went by pretty quick. We took all the measurements at once and cut them all at the same time. I find this really streamlines things. Using some glue and brad nails should hold everything in place pretty well. I just got done sanding 120 and then 220 on the sides. I think I'm going to stop at 220 just because it's going in the shop and no one's ever going to really see it. I finished the front with oak, and then I filled in these nail holes with just some wood putty that I had laying around. I went ahead and I have to finish everything in the shop with my decal, so I ended up printing off the Melrose Design decal. Oh god, that must slap right there. I think that would look pretty good. I printed this logo off for my Cameo. If you print a decal off, you need to use this transfer paper. It'll make your life so much easier. Some of the wood fibers came up, but it wasn't too big of a deal. I just sanded around the logo. I sealed everything up with the polyacrylic. I applied only 2 coats here, because that's all you probably really need. To sand the tops of this and on the side, I'm going to be using this 400 grit sandpaper. It'll keep the polyacrylic nice and smooth. I set the drill press up on top of the stand, and I must say, I'm pretty happy with the height set up at 30 inches. I got the laser sighted in and tested it on a scrap piece of wood. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and smash that subscribe button if you thought this video was even just a teensy bit helpful. Thanks for hanging with me, and I'll see you next time.